guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I am bringing you the first quarter stats for 2023. So this is going to go over my statistics for the months of January to March of 2023, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed so far with how my reading has gone. I think in general I'm in a pretty good spot. I had thought at the beginning of the year I was starting to go down a bit of a slump, but in March my reading picked up amazingly, did super well. I think that quarter two is going to be even better, and I'm super excited for that. So in terms of reading any anticipated reads this year, I have not really been able to pick up any because I've been on a book buying ban. I will say that the majority of my reads this year so far have been 5- and 4-star reads. I have only had 3 3-star reads so far this year, which is pretty good. I have so far 7 5-star favorites. So in this quarter, the 5-star favorites I've had this year have been The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, Polaris Rising by Jussi Mihalik, When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore, Night Crawling by Layla Motley, Unlock Your Storybook Heart by Amanda Lovelace, a reread of Babel by R.F. Kuang, and A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty stats of how many types of books I've read so far in 3 months. So with January, February, and March, I have read a total of 16 physical books, 7 ebooks, and 1 audiobook by itself, meaning that I didn't have a physical or ebook to track, and it was just purely the audiobook that I listened to. 15 of the books were from my personal library. 9 of them were borrowed from like Libby, Scribd, my local library, anything like that. In terms of genre, I've read mostly fantasy, which I'm not surprised by because that is my more favorite genre. I've so far read this year 12 fantasy books. I've read, though, 5 sci-fi books, or books I would consider as having sci-fi elements. I've read 4 contemporary books, or again, books that I would consider having contemporary elements. And I've read 3 historical books and no nonfiction books. So I have yet to read a nonfiction book this year, but I will say in my April TBR, I do have 1 book that is nonfiction. In terms of my rating, I do have to do a little bit of math on this because I am going to basically be averaging my average ratings that I've had over the course of the 3 months. So in January, I had an average rating of 4.28 stars. In February, it was an average of 4 stars, exactly, and in March, I had an average of 4.27 stars. So it looks like basically averaging out those 3 statistics, my average rating so far is a 4.18, which that is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. I was really expecting that to be a lot lower, but I'll take it. I think that's so far a really good pace for the year. Now, in terms of average pages, I have in January read 92.9, and then in February 74.64, and March 99.94. So let's see what the average page count I have in quarter 1 is. So it looks like my average page count is almost 90 pages. It's 89.16 pages, which is really good. Again, pretty average. I think that that's a really good, almost 100 pages. I'd like to try to get that up in quarter 2, but we'll see. Would average out my minutes listened, but I've only listened to 1 audiobook by itself this year so far, and my average minutes for that was 24.2. Now, in terms of books I've decided that I put on my self-destruct TBR, I have not read any of them as of yet, but I do have 1 of them on my April TBR, so I will be getting started with that this month. In terms of the series I want to finish, I have restarted my read of The Mortal Instruments. I read City of Bones in March, and I did continue with the Ranger's Apprentice series because I read the second book, The Burning Bridge, in March as well. And then I also did continue with Percy Jackson by reading Sea of Monsters in March. And then as far as my book clubs that I'm participating in, I have read everything so far for the N.K. Jemisin read-along. We just finished up with the Broken Earth trilogy in March and just had the live show for that, so I'm all caught up with that. I am all caught up with Brandy's book club except for the April book, which I'm getting to soon. I'm all up to date with the Octavia Butler read-along that Bree is hosting, and I am up to date on the books for the Zora Neale Hurston read-along that Bree and Brandy are both hosting. And anything else I need to read so far is my April books, and so those are going into quarter 2. I have been able to be on top of my reading game for book club so far this year, so I'm hoping I can keep that streak going. But with that, that's basically all the statistics that I have for this first quarter. I don't really know what else in terms of tracking I would like to do. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to track, whether it is type of author, like gender or race or anything. I don't know. Maybe I could do that and make an addendum in quarter 2 about that. But otherwise, let me know if there's any other stats you guys think I should be keeping track of or what would be interesting to keep track of. And otherwise, let me know what your guys' stats were for quarter 1. Did you read a lot more than you were expecting to? What's your average star rating so far? I would love to know how everyone's doing with their reading after the first quarter, because I'm just so proud of myself with how I've done. I want to share that good feeling with everybody else. But thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.